Season 14 is finally here, guys, and this means that you need some new banger settings to prevent you from having that trash aim that you've had for the last 13 seasons. Without further ado, we're gonna hop right into it right after you guys comment the reason you're clicking on this video, whether it's to get better at movement, aiming, whatever the case may be. Comment it down below. Let's hop right into it. These are going to be controller settings, by the way, and we're going to start off with the gameplay tab. Interact prompt style, we're going to have that set to default. A lot of this first page is going to be preferences, I will tell you that. Button hints is going to be set to off. Crosshair damage feedback, I have that set to off. Basically, that's just not going to show an X on your screen. It's just a lot less visual clutter. You can see that I'm just shooting at the guy and there is no X that's appearing when I'm taking the shots. Damage numbers is going to be on stacking for me. I definitely prefer stacking. As you can see, when you take the shots, 55, 33, 33, 22, stuff like that, you can tell exactly how much damage you're doing. But when you switch that over to floating, you have to add them up manually in your own head. So let's say you're taking a shot at this guy, you're jumping behind cover. How much damage did I do? 10? You know, you can't really see it that well. Ping opacity, I have that set to default. Obituaries is set to on. We have the minimap rotation set to off. Weapon auto cycle on empty, have that set to off as well. Auto sprint is on, and the reason this is on is because I was just so used to it. When I was on Xbox, I would have the heirlooms and I would just run around spinning them back and forth over and over again, but I can't get an heirloom on PC, but I just like to have it on. I've been used to it for so long, and that is what I run. A lot of these are preference, like I said. Double tap to sprint, I have that set to off. Jetpack control, I have that set to hold. That's going to be crucial on Valkyrie. Tells you what it does on the right hand side there. Jetpack remains engaged when you hold A, when it's set to hold. And I have paddles, I just want to get that out of the way right now, so it's a lot easier to have that setting on hold rather than toggle and, you know, just be tapping the button over and over. That seems like it would get very confusing, especially when you're trying to jump. Doesn't really make any sense to me. Taking damage, closes death box or crafting menu, that needs to be off, guys. The reason being, if you are in a death box and you're taking a look at, you know, the enemy's loot, or you're trying to shields up very quickly, if you take even one bullet of damage, it's going to close out of that, and you do not want that, especially if you're trying to get a quick shield swap. Pop up, I have that on. Streamer mode, I have that set to off. Anonymous mode, I have that enabled. Usage sharing, I have that also enabled. Performance display is set to on. You can see in the top right hand corner of my screen right now, you can see the FPS, the ping, all that information, all the good stuff that you'll need to know that you're not lagging in game. Scroll back down, we got the club invites, I have that set to enabled. If you're too popular, you know, turn that sucker off. Communication filter, I have that set to everybody. You know, you can limit who you're talking to so that nobody talks, just only your friends are talking, or everybody. I have it set to everybody for the content, of course. And we got the reticle, I have this set to default, but I usually do have it customized on this blue one right here. You can see the numbers right there, 154, 246, and 255 for those reticle settings with the cyan looking blue reticle. You can definitely change that up if you would like. Colorblind mode, I have that set to off. Subtitles off. Subtitle size does not matter because it's off. Enable accessible chat features off. Convert incoming voice to chat text, I have that off. Play incoming text chat as speech, I also have that off. Head over to the controller tab, because the mouse and keyboard tab, I didn't change any of these settings, so don't look at these at all. Onto the controller tab, head to the button layout. First of all, that is on default for me. I used to have this on customized, but I know I told you guys I was always running default, and I am. Stick layout is on default as well. Interact reload button, that is on tap for sure. And you know, there's a lot of times when controller players are stuck, maybe they're behind someone holding their knockdown shield and they need to reload. What they'll do is they will shoot the rest of their bullets into the ground so it automatically reloads for them. That's very smart. If you see anybody doing that, that's exactly why. Crouch button, I have this on hold, and I love having these paddles on the Elite Series 2 because I have it bound to my left side and I can crouch spam people super quickly. So it makes it very hard for people to shoot me if I can hit shots. Aim button, I have that set to hold. Survival slot, I have that on for my heat shields right now. Trigger dead zones, I have this set to none. I say this every single time I make this video, every season. Having it on none is so much better than having it on max, because the time that I press my trigger, I'll have already shot a couple bullets by the time you pull your trigger if you are set to max and I am on none. So keep that on none. Menu cursor speed, I have this about halfway up. This is going to be how fast you scroll up and down the death boxes, and you know how fast you you can shield swap and such like that. So if you control it, definitely keep it higher, but keep it at a spot that you can control it. Now, once we move down to this movement and aiming tab, I have not used any of these normal settings the whole entire last season. So I'm not going to tell you a bunch of settings that I haven't used in a long time. I will say that a lot of pro players, a lot of good players, 4-3 classic would be the move, and then small dead zone. Movement dead zone, small. Inverted look is off. Vibration, I prefer to play with that off. But we head into these advanced look settings here, into the custom look controls that are set to on for me. We have the dead zone at 9%, outer threshold 2%, response curve 11. We go over to the per optics. I got 1, 1.3, 1.6, 1.6, 1.6, 1.8, and 1.8. Yaw speed is going to be 361, pitch speed 321, turning extra yaw 80, and then everything else is off in this section. Then we head to the ADS yaw speed 135, ADS pitch speed 119, ADS turning extra yaw at 49. Then I have all these also set to off. Target compensation is going to be on, of course. I want that aim assist as a controller player, and then that melee target compensation is also going to be on. If you guys are playing on console, you have an option for PC or normal aim assist. I would always prefer the normal aim assist, especially because everybody on console is going to be running that 0.6. You definitely want that extra, you know, it's not even an advantage at that point because everybody else is running. You don't want to be at a disadvantage, I should say. Display mode, I have this set to full screen. This is only on PC. Some of these settings, by the way, just keep that in mind, guys. Aspect ratio is on 16:9 native. Resolution is 1920 by 1080. Brightness is 62% for me. Field of view, I have that cranked all the way up to 110. FOV ability scaling, that is going to be disabled. That should be disabled for all of you guys. That's going to help a lot when you're playing as Bloodhound or Octane. On Octane and we stim, our screen doesn't change right now, right? You guys can tell that our screen did not zoom in or out. But when we go to that setting again and we enable it, you can see that we back up a little bit right there. It was very faint that the screen kind of zooms out. And once this goes away, once this Beast of the Hunt is done, you guys are going to tell that it's zooming back in right there. Sprint view shake, I have this set to minimal. You don't want your screen shaking like crazy when you're sprinting all the time. VSync, I have that disabled. NVIDIA reflex, enabled plus boost. FPS target 0. I don't have this super sampling on. Anti-aliasing, TSAA. Texture streaming budget on insane. Filtering, anisotropic 8 times. Ambient occlusion quality, have that disabled. Sun shadow coverage low, sun shadow detail low, spot shadow detail disabled, volumetric lighting disabled, dynamic spot shadows disabled, model detail high, effects detail low, impact marks low, ragdolls on high. This is all PC settings down here in the advanced settings. So just an FYI, if you're on console, you don't see these settings. That is exactly why. Now, if we head to the audio tab, we have the master volume set to 70%, voice chat input device set to system default for me. Voice chat record mode, I have that on push to talk. You're going to want to turn that on open mic, especially if you're playing like ranked with random teammates. Open mic record threshold is on 1821 for me, but that's going to be different for a lot of people. Incoming voice chat volume on 100% for me. Sound effects volume 100%, dialogue volume 100%, music volume on 0, lobby music on 0, sound and background off, play incoming text chat as speech, I have that off, and then convert incoming voice to chat text, I also have that off. And that is going to be the settings for season 14, guys. I hope you have a great season, and let me know down in the comment section below if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and peace out.